Well, that takes care of that. All right, it's 5:30. I know we got people still coming on. I will read the script. Everybody catches on. This open meeting of the select board is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For the meeting, the select board is convening by video conference via Zoom webinar, as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. We'll do some roll call here. We'll go with select board members. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Melissa Murphy.
Here.
Christy Ferrantella.
Here.
Matt Fee.
Here.
I don't see Don yet. And for staff, Erica Mooney.
Present.
Libby Gibson.
Present.
Roberto Santamaria.
Present.
Bill Graham.
Here.
David Gray.
Here. Good evening.
Noah Carver.
Here.
Tucker Holland.
Here.
And Rob Rainey.
Here.
Thank you, everyone. Finish up the script. We are using Zoom webinar for meetings, which allows for the public to participate in the meeting as an attendee. Registration link can be found in the description of the Nantucket Government TV YouTube live feed for this meeting. Chair will call on those who raise their hand in the order they were raised. All supporting materials that have been provided to the members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. A couple notes: if you're not talking, please turn your camera off. Make sure you're muted if you're not talking. And finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Okay. Now we can call the November 17th select board meeting to order. No changes to the agenda, but if there's anybody here, any attendees that were waiting for the first public hearing, which was determine the tax allocation, that is continued to December 1st. So if you're here for that, make sure you're not waiting for it. Announcements, Libby.
Thank you. We just have a couple. The one on the agenda about the vaccine clinic. The town's vaccine clinic at 131 Pleasant Street is getting ready to wrap up. There are still some clinics underway on Sundays, and the full schedule is on the town website. And also there is no select board meeting next week, November 24th, and town offices will be closed on Thursday, the 25th, Thanksgiving Day.
Thanks, Libby. Any select board announcements or comments to get started? I had one, it's in the front of my head today. I was invited to go to food security kind of focus group today, and it was nonprofits and people from farms and restaurateurs, the people who know the numbers and do the financing between restaurateurs. And it was a really good hour and 15-minute talk of how you have all these different services, and sometimes they don't talk to each other, and it's not easy for access to the clients. So it's kind of getting everybody on one page and designing a system that ensures food security. So it defined food insecurity, and so it was really great because it was every kind of demographic from the private sector, nonprofit world that you could. Everyone was represented. It was very inspiring, and I love it when Nantucketers get together and figure stuff out. So kudos to everybody who got that going. Okay, I don't see any follow-up comments from prior select board meetings. Is there any public comment that's not on the agenda? Please raise your digital hand. Okay, we have one. Burton Balkine.
Burton Balkine here for the record. I had a question and a comment, Jason.
Sure.
My question is, the emergency siren system that we put in, is that still active and working?
I'm not sure. We can get back to you on that, unless Libby knows. Yeah, we can find out.
Okay, and then if it is if it is working, I was wondering why we didn't get the alarm on the with the tornado warning. And just more curiosity than anything else. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Well, we all got it in one way, maybe not the way you're talking about. I thought my house alarm went off when that happened. Any other public comment? It's not on the agenda. Okay. COVID-19 update.
Good evening.
Hi, Roberto.
It's been a while. Good to see
Yeah.
you, including the
Yeah.
Movember stash. Thank you. So actually, quick pre-COVID-19, put a big plug. November is the Cancer Awareness Month. So thank you for Movember. Jason, can you give us a quick update on what the Movember program does?
It's Movember is to promote men's health, to give a chance for people to say, hey, what's going on with your mustache? And then I get to talk about men's health and suicide prevention, and men are 3.6 times more likely to go down that road. So it's a really nice. It allows us to talk about a tough subject, and this is the first time I've grown a mustache, so it's been really interesting.
Thank you. Thank you. No, it's a big public health program, and I appreciate seeing it. I don't participate anymore because I have to stay clean shaven for my reservist duties, but thank you, sir.
Well, I think that's a citizen warrant article we should have put in for town staff for the month of November.
Yeah, if you can grow a mustache, grow a mustache. Okay, so COVID-19 update. We're in decent shape. What we're seeing is we didn't get this week's BioBot report back yet today, but we should be getting it soon. But what we did see last week was a slight uptick. We're at 31% of the national average. One thing that we do have to also look at is as the national samples go down, more likely each little jump of viral load will jump us more or drop us more percentage wise. So when BioBot was first when we were first reporting, I think they had something like 5,500 municipalities participating across the country. Right now they're down to about 1,500. So, and they're the ones who are like us, who they're sticking around. So that's a pretty good sample size. So that's really good. We're seeing it right on the money, 1 to 5 cases per day. We are the hospital is currently vaccinating youth ages 5 to 11. We are looking, we asked the state today for information on that vaccine bus again. So hopefully we can get an answer on that soon. So that way we can supplement the vaccinations as we can. As Libby mentioned, we only have 5 more Sunday clinics left. The last first doses that we're going to be giving is next Sunday, the Sunday after Thanksgiving. After that, it'll only be second doses. If you're looking for third doses and boosters, you need to contact Dan's Pharmacy for Moderna, Health Imperatives, and Nantucket Cottage Hospital for those doses. And then really, we're kind of just, batten down the hatches for another winter. But we need to start looking at this as another, live with it kind of like we do with the flu. With Pfizer and Merck now having a approved antiviral. The Pfizer is the Mirapirnavir. I don't know Merck is Mirapirnavir. I don't know the name of the Pfizer one yet because it was only approved 2 days ago. But those have been proven to be very effective at preventing severe symptoms. So not only do we have a vaccine now, but we also have a treatment program, treatment to an antiviral. So, knock on wood, we're hopefully starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel here. I don't know about we're starting to emerge from the tunnel. So that's really good news. And with that, I'll take questions.
Melissa?
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Roberto. Just I think a quick question for you. I've never seen advice before in our community or our country about wearing a mask if we have cold or, gosh forbid, flu symptoms. But I know there's a really nasty cold that's been going around for the past month. Would you advise if people are feeling funny if they feel comfortable to throw a mask on? Or is that just is that overkill and weird?
No, absolutely. I hope, if anything, if we learned anything in this country over the last 2 years, is how effective masks are at preventing the spread of an airborne illness. No matter how thin that mask may be, it is still a barrier between you and the rest of the world. So when this first started, I fully admit I was very skeptical of masks. In those first few months of the COVID outbreak in 2020, we were still saying, leave the masks for those who absolutely need it. But over the course of these last 2 years, we've learned just how effective masks are. So I know moving forward, if I'm going to be flying, I'll probably be wearing a mask because every time I fly, I end up with a sinus infection, even before COVID.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, this has been tremendous at preventing outbreaks of all sorts, of any airborne infection.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
I had one question on, do we have any updated numbers of vaccination percentages for the schools, and a month or two from now, will we be able to have access to decent data on vaccinations for the 5 to 12 group? Will that be available?
Yes, for the schools, I don't have numbers. We don't actually get access to the schools' numbers. We only get access to absolute numbers.
Yep.
So our absolute number right now is 24,587 doses given as of, what is that, November 12th. So that's where we are as far as the doses are. As far as eligible vaccine population, according to the state, we are at approximately 72% fully vaccinated, which is 3% higher than the rest of the state right now, than the average in the state. And that is adjusted for our new population. If we're using the old population, we vaccinated something like 113%. But fully vaccinated, adjusted for higher population and traveling, we've vaccinated approximately 72 to 73. That's our best guesstimate right now. It's going to be a big, after action project to really get us an exact number of where we are. And it's going to be hard, but I think it's worth it. It's worth doing an autopsy on the last 2 years.
So that 24,000, should we cut that in half for people because it's 2 doses?
Correct.
Okay, right. And so some people have said, well, there's so many people who were here this summer, or they came over, got vaccinated and left. I feel like that would equal out, because I just anecdotally, I've heard of so many people just getting a second dose or even a booster off island.
There is that is the number that we use. The 24,000 also includes single dose vaccines, includes Johnson & Johnson. So there is a lot of, I wouldn't divide it directly by 2. I would say, multiply it by 0.62, I would say, or so. And let me do that right now. So that'll be approximately 15,000 people fully vaccinated when we throw in Johnson & Johnson and travelers and stuff.
So our vaccination clinics are coming to a close. Are we still seeing people coming in to getting their first vaccination?
The health department vaccine clinics are coming to a close.
Right.
We are seeing a pretty big slowdown of first doses. We did have a big bump on first doses after the most recent death a few weeks ago. So we did see a big bump of first doses after that, but it's starting to trickle down again.
Okay.
So we're averaging about 50 doses or so per weekend clinic, and that includes second and when we were still doing third doses.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments for Roberto? Matt?
Yeah, Roberto, how concerned should we be looking when you look at Europe and see what's happening with countries that are much higher vaccination rates than we are, and you see, New England and other areas slowly, going up. Should we have is there a point where we get concerned, or are we really pretty good with, the treatments and things?
Yeah, actually, we should always be concerned. Absolutely, we should be concerned. This is going to be a virus that continues mutating, and we're gonna see surges, just like with the flu every year. We're gonna see, just like with the flu every year, we're gonna see deaths. This is a virus that's gonna be with us for a very long time. Hopefully it changes policy for the rest of our lifetimes at least. So what we will see is these surges back and forth, and we are going to see ebbs and flows in hospitalizations across the country. But with these two new treatments out there, the antivirals out there, that will hopefully keep the death rate and the scarring down. So the other reason that people don't quite understand about COVID is when, yes, 1% death rate, and we shut down the country for 1%, blah blah blah. Of that 1% were the ones who died. Another 10% are people who had permanent damage to their respiratory and circulatory systems. This new antiviral pill that both Pfizer and Merck were able to get out and get fully approved, prevents severe symptoms from showing up and hospitalizations from showing up. It prevents that scarring in the lungs. And that is, we talk about quality adjusted life years in epidemiology. And the average QAL in the United States dropped by a whole 5 years because of COVID because of the last 2 years of what we saw, because of this type of lung scarring. So it is still an illness that we have to pay attention to. It is still something that we're going to be monitoring probably forever. And, just like the CDC has an entire flu division, they're probably going to have a COVID division for the foreseeable future as well. So yes, Matt, to answer your question in a long-winded philosophical way, yes, we should be worried. Yes, we should continue monitoring it. I hope people continue wearing masks as needed. But the treatments available today are not the same treatments that were available 2 years ago. So hopefully we can prevent severe illness in a much more effective way now.
Thank you, Roberto. Anything else? All right. Thanks.
Looking forward to seeing everyone in person. Take care.
Thanks, Roberto. Okay, there's no new business that I know of. It's okay. We can do minutes, payroll warrants, and treasury warrants all in one big swoop. That's okay.
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor, Melissa,
Aye.
Christy,
Aye.
Dawn,
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Aye, that passes unanimously. Citizen department request, I think we'll take these one by one. And I think Tucker's here to help us through. Request for waivers of sewer connection permit fees for a covenant lot located at 67 Fairgrounds Road, lot 191. Is that you, Tucker, and David, if needed?
Sure, yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is relatively straightforward. This is a covenant lot located at 67 Fairgrounds Road. They are requesting the sewer connection fee waiver in accordance with the board's standing policy. Happy to answer any questions, but would ask for your approval of this.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, Melissa,
Aye.
Christy,
Aye.
Dawn,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Jason, aye. That passes unanimously. Thank you. Number 2, request for waiver of sewer connection permit fees and sewer capacity fees for 3 homes for Habitat for Humanity, Nantucket, for 9A and 9B Benjamin Drive.
Yes, thank you again. These are 3 homes which Habitat is developing on Benjamin Drive. They are actually the first Habitat units to be eligible for inclusion on our subsidized housing inventory and are in fact on that list today. They contributed to the current period of safe harbor that we are in. And again, they are simply requesting both sewer fees be waived, again, in accordance with the board's standing policy. These units will be restricted at the 80% AMI level or less.
Thanks, Tucker. Any questions? Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor? Melissa,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Aye, that passes unanimously. Thank you, Tucker. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Nantucket Land Council request for preliminary review of conservation restriction to be held by Nantucket Land Council for land located at 15 Wynn Street. This is I'm sure everybody knows conservation restrictions are 2 parts. We're proving that there is a community benefit, and then it'll come back to us. RJ Turcott is here from Land Council. Anybody has any questions? Erica, I saw you come on there. Did you have anything? Oh, okay. Any questions for this, for Erica, for RJ? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve and send to town council.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion at all? Just double check. Okay. Is there a motion? Or sorry, all those in favor, Melissa,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Jason, aye. Thank you very much. RJ, if you're there, thank you for coming on as attendee in case we needed you. Thank you. Okay, on to real estate matters. I think Ken is here. Ken Bogrant here to help us through this one. This is
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the completion of a yard sale program that began and was approved at the town meeting in 2011. The conditions of this transfer are that this small parcel must be merged into their existing land, that the newly combined parcel cannot be subdivided and can only be used for residential purposes. Town council has reviewed all the documentation and prepared it and approved it for execution by the town. This was reviewed by REAC on their meeting on Monday, and also approved it and recommended it to the select board to move forward. So that is my recommendation as well. Be happy to answer any questions with respect to this.
Ken, was it a unanimous vote?
It was a unanimous vote.
Okay, that always is a little helpful for me. It wasn't
Okay.
a split vote. Matt, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just a quick question, Ken. How much is coastal resiliency factoring into real estate advisory? Is that in
We
there?
take a look. That's now one of the criteria that we take a look at, the impact that the coastal resiliency issues, when they're involved and to what extent they're involved, and what impact that has either on value or on risk with respect to the property.
Yeah, and I think it's important. There's some roads that we're talking about later, or they're in the very end of the packet that get added. And some, we have to be careful about taking roads in areas that are going to be, they're going to be at risk, that are going to erode, are going to and go away, because then we're in the same boat we're in already. So hopefully, hopefully that starts to be front and center for some of this.
Any other questions or comments for Ken? Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor, Melissa,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Jason, aye. That passes unanimously. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Moving on to public hearings. Number 1 is continued to December 1st. Next one is a public hearing to consider utility petition from National
Don't
Grid.
we have to open that and continue it? Move to continue?
Thank you. Oh, the first one. I'm sorry.
Yes. I'll make a motion to continue that till
let me open the public hearing. Determine the tax allocation. And we want this to be continued. So now I guess we could
And we're continuing December, what's the date first?
first.
Yep, make a motion to continue it to December 1st.
Second.
All in favor, Melissa,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Jason, aye. That has been continued to December 1st. Thank you. Thank you, Erica, for keeping me honest. Okay, now we'll open the public hearing to consider a utility petition from National Grid, Nantucket Electric Company for to install 2 handhelds on East Lincoln Ave in front of numbers 7 and 10 on East Lincoln Avenue. Is anyone here to walk us through that?
Tim Lyford from National Grid is here.
Okay. Hey, Tim.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Tim Lyford, National Grid Electric, 100 East Ashland Street, Brockton, Massachusetts. So for this first petition, National Grid is petitioning to install 2 handholds on East Lincoln Avenue and approximately 30 feet of 2 3-inch conduits to be crossing East Lincoln Avenue to be located approximately near pole 2, existing pole 2 on East Lincoln. And this is for new service to number 7 East Lincoln Avenue.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Any questions from the board or from the public or comments? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Pleasure of the board.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, Melissa,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Jason, aye. That passes unanimously. The next one, we'll open the public hearing to consider utility petition for National Grid for 2 handholds on Baxter Road, number 73 and 76. Looks like this is about the same thing, Tim, as before.
That's correct. Yeah, exact same scenario. So as previously stated, National Grid is petitioning for 2 handholds to be located on Baxter Road and approximately 30 feet of 2 3-inch conduits to be located between the said handholds. And these are for new service to number 73 Baxter.
Okay, any comments from the board, questions? The public hearing, so anyone from the public can chime in. Okay, I guess we'll close the public hearing. What we'd like to do. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, Melissa,
Aye.
Christie,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
and Matt,
Aye.
Jason, aye. Libby?
Just to clarify, that is subject to all the conditions put forward by the town department.
Yes, I would say both of those motions
Yes.
were. I think we were all thinking it, just maybe forgot to say it. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Tim, for coming on tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Libby, over to you for town manager's report.
Okay. You.
Libby, really quick, did you change something in your office today? Because I didn't look yet.
Oh, I forgot to. I know exactly what I'm gonna do next time. So take a good look because something's gonna be removed.
I think Melissa would have got it if you would have changed it already, so.
I was staring and I didn't notice anything different and I was going to ask. So I'm glad.
Okay, my plan is to remove something. So not
Okay.
add, remove.
Okay.
Don't tell us your plan.
I shouldn't have told you that. I'm gonna change it now. Okay, so town managers report here. Just gonna try to focus on only the items that are in bold which are pretty much everything's active on here, but these are the most active. So the Coastal Resiliency Plan, as you know, the plan is out. It will be reviewed with the board by the Coastal Resiliency Advisory Committee at your next meeting on December 1st. And okay, so that was, yeah, sorry, that was that plan. A follow-up item from your strategic plan review in October was to schedule a solid waste long-term planning workshop, which you had this past Monday. We had an internal meeting today to review feedback from that workshop. We are scheduling your next workshop on this on February 5th, I think it is, or 7th, whatever, first Monday of February. And we are working on some follow-up, which includes some more detail on some of the things that we talked about, such as ownership of the composter. What does it look like? Ownership of the transfer station. What does it look like? Or what are the alternatives with specific to costs, waste reduction strategies? What could some of those things really look like, cost, involve, entail, and things of that nature. So we'll be back to you with more details on that in February. Nantucket Water Quality Improvement Plan, which leads to sewering Nantucket or not. We do have an updated report from Wesson and Sampson on this with an updated cost. We are planning to review that with you in January. I think we talked today about January 12th. I had a meeting last week about this with staff, and an issue that has come up since sewering Nantucket initially arose is, of course, coastal resiliency efforts as part of this project. So for example, if we are going to sewer Nantucket, there may be roadway areas that we want to raise as part of the project. That is going to add a significant cost to the project. So, but as we heard at your workshop meeting yesterday with the Capital Program Committee, there was some pretty focused discussion on coastal resiliency measures and associated capital projects. And I think that the point was made that if we are doing town projects in coastal areas, we should make sure they are made resilient at the same time. So that is, as you all know, going to add a significant cost to some of these projects, but I guess it is what it is. So anyway, more on this at your meeting in January. Facilities master plan. We are continuing an exploratory review of the Delta area property for the DPW facility. I need to get that back on track. It's fallen off a little bit, but it's out in the queue waiting to be dealt with. Baxter Road long-term planning. You all had your position statement endorsed at your November 3rd meeting. We are working to secure professional assistance for the relocation plan. We are talking to 2 consultants about this and hope to have something before you in the not too distant future, possibly before the end of the year or very early January. Obviously, we're working on the 2022 annual town meeting prep. We are really starting to get into the home stretch of our budget development and our presentation for you, which will be occurring on December 8th. I'm trying to really clear my schedule to focus on that for the next couple of weeks. DPW operations, we meet with DPW admin leadership staff weekly, if not more often than that. The Behavioral Health Steering Committee, this is more of a leadership committee that has some key people on it that are working towards a more consolidated system on the island for mental health and related issues. And we've just added Jericho Mealy, our Human Services Director, to that group. Island Home, new facility planning remains quite active, and we've been meeting pretty regularly about that. Waste options, we have meetings on and off with them, the landfill operator. We've got another one coming up in early December. Park and Rec Commission has been meeting about the school athletic facility plans. They've had a couple of meetings about this, and they are working now on revisions to the Park and Rec master plan with respect to Tom Nevers. And I need to get before you a contract amendment with Wesson and Sampson, which is the firm doing our parks master plan, to have them do some additional work on this with Park and Rec to come up with these reconfigurations based on sea level rise and coastal resiliency issues. That'll be coming to you soon. I am attending the Mass Municipal Managers Association Annual Fall Conference tomorrow and Friday. Other projects, Eric, if you can go down a bit. The Nobody Field House ground has been broken for construction, so that project is underway. The third sewer force main, you all have signed the construction contract on that. We're waiting on a final timeline. I don't think David is still on, but there are definitely going to be supply chain impacts on the timing of this project. Unfortunately, construction's underway for Waite Drive, SBPF and Baxter Road, and the notice of intent, joint notice of intent that we've been talking about. That is ongoing. That is taking some substantial staff time. It's pretty active right now, and in the next few weeks, something will be coming to you all as a board to review and act on in the form of a memorandum of understanding with SBPF for the filing of the notice of intent. And I'm hoping at your next meeting to get before you a contract with Arcadis to help be the town's consultant for the technical aspects of the notice of intent. And we're working on that for your meeting on December 1st. The DEI strategic plan, the contract's been awarded for that. There's a lot of information that the consultants have asked for, and our DEI director, Kamal McCarthy, is heading that up. We're pending award and a contract award for a classification and compensation study, which is funded in the fiscal 22 budget. The contractor, it hasn't moved very quickly because the contractor has indicated they can't start the work until spring. So there wasn't a big rush to get the contract on the agenda, but it does need to get before you pretty soon. We're working on updating our committee handbook. Seasonal and year-round employee housing. This is also stepping up a bit. We're working on a town employee very focused survey to determine what sort of needs are out there. Specific needs, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, studio, duplex, things of that nature. What's the duration? Do you need it for the summer? Do you need it year round? And our ultimate goal is to get this survey out and then meet with each union a representative from each union to get some input and ideas from them about potential housing options that the town could provide for its employees. So we also have procurements out for playing field maintenance. We're about to get one out for town employee rental housing. That one has had to undergo some sort of unexpected legal review, but hopefully that will get out very shortly. Still working on the prioritization of DPW projects. I guess I said the Island Home twice. Downtown sidewalk repairs, as you can all see, there were a lot of sidewalk repairs that were going on this fall. We're about to commence some patching in the Orkawal-Montahanset area, as well as some drainage improvements. We're hoping to get the Washington Street Francis intersection patched. And as you know, that is meant to be a widening project. And that, because of coastal resiliency interim policy, which would really entail raising the road in that area, which has a whole lot of downstream consequences. We really need to look at that a lot more carefully. So our current goal is to do a sort of a temporary widening that at least makes the roadway surface smoother. However, we don't have current funding available for that. So we need to use, at least not that we can just spend today. We are going to be using Chapter 90 money for that. That requires a pretty detailed application and approval from Mass Highway before we commence with the work. So hopefully that can be a springtime project. Plastics ban, we're back to getting outreach on that. And we feel that we're at the point of enforcement. If there are businesses out there that are not in compliance with the plastics ban, we're going to start working on enforcement. Children's Beach Pump Station. This also gets a bit complicated. We have had some internal meetings about this project. As you know, $4.3 million was approved at the last town meeting. And we do have a report from our engineer on this project. However, again, with coastal resiliency issues becoming much more of a forefront consideration for these projects, we have discussed the fact that we need to do some more homework on this project. And there's a couple of things going on, and we ultimately will be coming to you with a review of this, but in a nutshell, there's a couple of things that are going on. The sewer director is working on what it would take scenario to put a pump that tends to be placed down there in the preceding a major storm event, a major expected storm event. We're calling it the temporary permanent solution. That isn't as easy as it sounds because it will require permitting, possibly from the Army Corps, because there would be an outfall line that runs into the harbor there. There already is a line that runs into the harbor there, but this will need to be re-permitted and buried under the sand. And there would need to be a structure around it. So again, we're working on what it will take to do that. I have had a meeting with at least one individual from the Brant Point Association who expressed willingness to help contribute in some manner with this. And the sewer director and I are hoping to get together and have a further discussion about what that might entail. The other more, I'm not going to say long-term, but it's longer term than simply putting out a bid to put a pump station down there, because again, that's not realistic at this point either. The idea is to do a more comprehensive review of the existing storm drainage system in that area, because which has started, and certain areas have been identified as needing repair or reconfiguration. And if all of that was done, the need for a larger fix might be lesser. So again, we have some additional homework that we feel really needs to be done before we launch into a project that isn't totally thought through. But again, we are working on a presentation that will be coming to you probably in January or February with any luck. Some items that have been put on hold that we're really trying to get back to include stormwater regulations, Sheep Pond Road, alternative access. We do have a WPI group working on our dream to have a government 101, sort of a citizens government academy class. I think some of you have been interviewed by the team for that. They'll be giving their project reviews in the beginning of December, and we've been meeting with them pretty regularly about that. A couple other things underway there. Personnel, collective bargaining continues. Transportation planner, we may have made a little bit of headway last week. We're working on some internal discussions to try to get that position filled. Good news, the deputy DPW director for facilities position is filled. Paul Berard is stepped into that role. We thank him very much. DPW director remains unfilled. We do have applications that have been submitted, and those are in the process of being reviewed by our consultant. We are still looking for an island home administrator. We possibly have an interim potential for that, but we're not. Stay tuned on that. Park and Rec manager position interviews have started, and we hope to have that position filled within the next month or two. And as you all know, unfortunately, our assistant town manager for administration, Rachel Day, is stepping down from that role. She is currently focused at the island home until we can get that position filled.
Jason, it's Matt. One quick comment. Libby, the surveys for housing, I just caution everybody that the school did a survey when it did its housing, and what everyone said is they wanted 3 bedrooms. And then when they went to try to rent the 3 bedrooms, nobody wanted them. So that, at the price that was charged, and they didn't want it. So some of I think it's important to engage people and see what they want. But I think, half of the input has to be, what is prudent for you for an operational, what is it that you really need for operations, has as much to do with it as what people want. It's a combination.
Yes, and Matt, thank you for saying that, because that is actually one of the things we've been talking about with our internal housing group, is that exact situation with the school. Everybody said they wanted this certain type, and then they couldn't fill it. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing a more focused survey, direct to every employee, but also the follow-up with union representatives, so that we can really be sure. And there may be even some side sort of group meetings with employees too. We haven't really thought that through yet, but point well taken. Thank you.
Yeah, I do a lot of housing with my staff, and things that people want now are different than things they wanted 25 years ago. And it's internet and privacy, their own room. They don't mind sharing a kitchen if they have to, at certain ages. When they get to a certain age, then they want, their own space. So, there's sort of tiers that we see, but it's very different than it was previous. And the biggest thing is good internet. If you have bad internet, it's the end of the world. So.
Thank you. Can we go to, are any other questions from the board or comments? No, we go to Mary Longacre, who's patiently had her hand up.
Thank you very much, Jason. I apologize for missing the public comment section earlier, and I appreciate you allowing me in. When the town manager was talking about the solid waste long-term planning, I remembered that I've had a couple of experiences recently, and I wanted to relate them if you'll indulge me for a minute. At the dump, looking at the dumpster that holds the non-recyclable, non-compostable, and then looking at the dumpster that holds the compostable, it's really hard to tell at a glance which one is which. That the materials are not well sorted, at least on the day that I was there. That was one experience. The hospital thrift shop being able to donate $500,000 to the hospital. I congratulate them wholeheartedly. I'm glad that they were able to provide new homes for those goods, but I found it really shocking that there's that much available in second-hand goods. And I know that there are other thrift shops as well. And the third experience was the Take It or Leave It opening, which I'm very, very pleased and happy about, and filling in just 4 days of drop-offs. And so all of this together, we have too much stuff. We buy too much stuff. We throw out too much stuff. We have sort of a mindset that, at least on Nantucket, if we can give it to somebody else somehow, then that's a good thing. I would hope that in your solid waste long-term planning, you have education both for how to handle the stuff that we have to create less trash, to dispose of it in the proper channel, but also to see if there is a way that we can simply process less stuff. It doesn't seem fair to put the burden on the town and the taxpayer to handle all of this volume of material that is coming. We see headlines about supply chain backups because people are ordering more things. People are ordering more online. It's easier to order. So in your long range planning, I hope that there can be a major education component, not just for our local practices and how we need to manage waste, but how we can reduce it in the first place. Thank you. And also it warms my heart to hear all of the Costa Rosanes comments. So thank you very much for those too.
Thank you, Mary. I would suggest anybody who's listening to this or listening to this down the road is to watch the Monday solid waste workshop. I found it very educational. It was a good conversation with George and Graham and Libby. And I think it was really helpful for me. And I heard other comments of people who did watch it, learned a little bit and kind of seeing how much work we got to do in the next couple of years. Any other comments for the town manager's report for anybody? A lot of stuff, Libby, a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
I'm sorry, were you finished? I didn't even.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to select board reports and comments. Town administration. Request for select board direction regarding funding for private road repaving in connection with the water main extension project Surfside area.
So I don't think Greg is on. He was helping deal with this, but I can summarize this. I'll try to just really overview of it. So the airport is undertaking a water main extension project, which involves a couple of private roads, one of which is, there may be more than one, but I think the one in question is a paved road, Skyline Drive, a portion thereof. And the issue came up that the project only requires installation of the line and a trench and then patching the trench after the line is installed. And what we have been trying to move towards when large utilities are installed like that is curb to curb paving rather than a trench, because of the integrity of the road being compromised when curb to curb paving is not accomplished. And this is what happened with the Nantucket Harbor Shimo Plus project, sewer project on private roads. that were paved. We're not talking about unpaved roads, and we're not talking about paving unpaved roads. So there was a very, very preliminary estimate that was developed for this project, but there were gaps in it. So we had our engineer take a look at it. Now, we only received the revised estimate after a thorough review of materials and drainage structures and things of that nature that would need to be done just before your meeting tonight. And so we have not had a chance to thoroughly evaluate it, but the total is just over $1.3 million. That's a significant number. It's more than originally anticipated. Again, understanding that there were gaps in the original estimate. I would really want to confirm funding availability with the finance director. He's not available this week. We did, though, have some discussion about this previously. And the idea was to use potentially the town road rate, the island-wide, whatever it's called, island-wide road appropriation that we approve annually at town meeting. That should be backfilled, though, so that we can continue spring road projects in fiscal 22. Otherwise, we won't be able to do those road projects because we don't really have much else of a funding source. At this point, hopefully that backfill can be done with free cash. That Brian was hopeful about that before he left, although we weren't looking at this magnitude of a number. But really, it's not totally unexpected because paving's expensive and materials are expensive. And that's just how it is. Now, the engineer did say that if we are able to use our paving contractor, this cost may go down a bit. He was basing the estimate on other different, on the contractor that I believe the contractor that's been used by the airport. So if we were to use ours, it might be a lower cost. But again, we have not had a chance to really do deep follow-up on this, just having gotten the estimate right before the meeting. So that is where it stands, but I know that a decision needs to be made because I think the project has started and Noah may have some more information on that. So I think we're basically talking about a magnitude of perhaps around $1 million, $1.3 million-ish, which I think is not far off from what we said last week. And we just need to determine, are we going to proceed with it?
Let me, can I ask you really quick, what in the agenda item summary, the numbers are different than what you're saying. Did I miss something?
No, you didn't, but because the estimate changed today.
Today.
Yeah, today, just before today's meeting, we got the revised estimate.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Okay. Any questions on this? Thoughts from the board? Questions for Noah or Libby? Matt?
Yeah, when you look at that, Libby, we should look at what was the cost. I think Lover's Lane was just done today, or a couple roads out that direction, and those were quite a bit longer. So those would be good comps, recent comps in that area. So I mean, my sense is keep the estimate high so that the match from the airport is high, and then go out and put it out to bid and see if we can get our portion of it as cheap as possible. But
yeah, that the other thing I haven't really had a chance to dig into is there would be this basically would be the difference between the patch and the curb to curb paving, but I haven't been able to determine what exactly that is, whether it's just a total of 1 million with, or $1 million-ish with or without that offset. But anyway, I think the issue, Noah, has the project started? Yeah.
Yes, well, the pipe delivery has been staged along Skyline, and excavation should begin next week on Monday, I believe.
yeah, my other point is I normally would be arguing for betterments, bettering part of it, but I think the situation here does not, this is happening from no fault of, any of these homeowners. And I think that would be sort of rubbing salt in the wound. I don't think it's right. So but normally I would be saying, I'd be asking for that, but in no way here.
Thank you. Melissa?
Thanks, Jason. Matt, I agree with you 100%. I think that it's collectively the town and airport's responsibility to take care of this. And So if that's, the consensus you need, Libby, that's my opinion. And I think, to do it at the, most cost efficient method for the town and the airport is the best way to go, but it shouldn't be resolved through betterments on the homeowners.
Yep. So Don is saying yes. I think we all have the direction you need to go curb to curb.
Okay,
I would rather it not come from the overall funding and take away from other projects. I know Brian's not here, but if it's free cash or somewhere else, that would be the first option. that
Yeah,
I would go with.
so we'll determine the funding source, but I do just want to caution that there may or may not be consequences about spring roadway paving because of the magnitude of this, but hopefully not, but can't say with certainty right now.
Melissa?
I would just ask that when you do know, can you update us and let us know where the funding recommendation is coming from?
Anything else? Any other comments? Okay. Libby, do you have everything you need there?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't hear any no's.
Okay, moving on. Thank you, Noah. Select board reports. The second one. Continued review potential votes on select board sponsored 2022 annual town meeting warrant articles. Review of citizen warrant articles submittals.
So basically, this is staying on your agenda weekly as you have discussions about warrant articles. And not much really changed since last week. Except for, I want to mention a couple things. So short-term rental regulations, good. Yeah. I tried to highlight in yellow any changes. Short-term rental regulations. You had some discussion about this last week. The planning board is having a special meeting about this on November 29th. And the planning director will come to your meeting on December 1st to give a report about that. So that you might want to hear about all that before decisions are made about articles, which you probably weren't going to do tonight anyway. And I had forgotten to put on an additional request from the Historical Commission to change its membership from 5 to 7 and eliminate alternate members. So if the board is supportive, we can turn that into a warrant article. And Erica, go down a little bit. Community impact fee on short-term rentals. We needed additional data on this and we haven't been able to get to that yet. Oh, but we said it wasn't really going to be for the 2022 annual town meeting. So I'm probably going to take that, if you're all okay with it, that off your list, but we do know that we need to work on these data projections. Mm-hmm. And then since last week, we've received 31 citizen warrant articles. They've all been certified by the town clerk, and thank you very much to the town clerk's office for getting those certifications done so quickly. I myself have not even looked at any of them yet. So I am always think around this time of year that I want to have town administration comments on these articles, and I'm really going to try to get that done this year, because I can see by looking at some of the titles that we may have some comments on some of these. Mm-hmm. So we didn't know if you all wanted to have your own comments about any of these. You may not have read them yet either. I have not read them yet.
I was able to kind of flip through the ones that I could quickly look through, but there was 3 or 4 that the one from Bruce Bandel, I need to look at that and see what the changes are. I haven't dug into all of those, but I think half, maybe a little bit less than half, are zoning articles. I like that the fertilizer conversation is coming back up. From what we heard about what the Cape has, I'm assuming that, which one is that? F? Of course it's F. How it works in the Cape, maybe there's something there. We didn't know that before, so I thought that was good. HGC solar, I didn't really understand that, but I like that conversation. That's things that we might want to comment on the solar. And what else? And of course, the double E, you said in December, we're gonna have a meeting on that, not on that specific article, but that subject matter.
Yes, and again, the planning board is meeting on Monday, November 29th about short-term rentals in general. I don't know if they're going to take up this specific article or not. And the planning director will come to your meeting on December 1st to give a report on short-term rentals.
Okay. Any thoughts from board members on anything we went over?
I haven't had a chance to dig into any of those either. I've been flat out the last couple of days.
Okay. So you said, Libby, this is on our agenda pretty much here for a while, this agenda item.
Yes, and town council will get all the citizen warrant articles too and do his usual, what we call the triage of them. And so, that's going to take a few weeks too.
So that was my next question. So maybe December 8th, we'll have that to go over.
We might have it by December 8th. It's possibly more likely by December 15th.
Okay.
But sometime in December.
Sure.
And I just wanted to note that I did talk to town council yesterday, and he's going to try to have them done by the FinCom public hearing, which is December 9th.
Okay.
We're in time for that.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, I read a document recently that talked about controlling fertilizer, and we may already have more ability to do that than we think we have. So, this, which would be interesting. So, I'll get, if it has, in fact, I think that might have come to all of us. Maybe I'd have to look, but we may have more power than we think we have, which would be great.
Okay. Anything else from anyone? Okay, move on to committee reports. Any other comments? Anyone? Short meeting. This is the time to talk about all the great things you've done this last week.
Jason, I'm just having trouble with I'm just having trouble concentrating because of your mustache. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry, Matt.
I really am sorry.
Are you saying because my mustache, you're talking less?
You may keep it then.
I will say, Matt and I went today to is it Equinor? What's the company? Equinor. Equinox. Help me out.
Equinor.
Okay. So it's the wind farm, the leased area south of Vineyard Wind. So it's 4 or 5 years out, but they're here really early, talking to all the stakeholders, and they're very organized. And so we looked at visuals, and they talked about their whole project. So it was nice that they were here. And Holly Backus and Maureen, I mean, just everybody was there. And the one thing right before we left, Matt, I don't know if you heard it as well, that they actually have a Section 106 specialist, which we hadn't seen that before. So that kind of made everybody happy, thinking of the preservation historical impact that this will have. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Melissa?
Aye.
Christy?
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
Nat?
Aye.
And Jason, aye.
Can I just note before y'all leave that we have a lot of stuff in the office to sign and for members to try to come in tomorrow or Friday because we have to do a real estate closing. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Erica. We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.